Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Coach Cruise. And as you see, I have some new guests with me today, and we're going to introduce these gentlemen here in just a moment. But today we are talking about starting your own YouTube channel. And some of you may have zero interest in this, but hear us out. We're gonna talk to you. You don't have to do it because you want to make money or anything like that. I mean, there are a lot of reasons to start your own YouTube channel, and we'll get into many of those reasons. Whether it's the passion you have, something you just really enjoy doing, whether it's fun, whether it's meet people, whatever it is. We're going to talk about some of those things and how to potentially have a successful YouTube channel and one that you can feel good about and that you make steady progress and things like that. But before we get into all that, let me check in with some of you. And we have Admin Tim taking the gold this week. Klesko's had it a couple weeks in a row, I think, but Klesko got over. Admin Tim snuck in there, took the gold. Good job, Tim and Klesko still on the podium. And then let's see who got the bronze. That would be Justin. Justin got the bronze back up on the podium. We have the Crazy Ad Cruiser following, and then right behind there, maybe it was a tie for third. We got a gentleman, Texas Cruiser, checking in the comments right after Crazy Ad Cruiser, saying hi to everybody. Sandy the Lost Pirate Jenkins has checked in as well. Good to see you again, Sandy. We got Will G here. We got Mandy, and let's put hers up on the screen because the reason hers is in green is because she has been a Coach Cruise member for 7 months. If you would like to be a Coach Cruise member, it's they charge you $5 a month, and basically you get some individualized content. I shared the Tracy video that was in a Cosmital adult establishment. I don't know how many people liked it or whatever, but I was like, I want to give the members only some stuff that
Hey, I jumped on there. Hey.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Miss Mandy. How you doing, Miss Mandy?
Yeah. Celso is back, says, Coach, 19 more days. Yes, 19 more days into the New Year's Eve cruise on the Carnival Venezia. JB is back in the house. Good to see you. We got Frankie Floyd, the Emerald Coast Cruiser, here once again. Charlene, also a member. JB is a member. Emerald Coast Cruiser is a member. We got so many members here. Of course. And then look at this. We have, hold on a second here, but we got our first super chat from our gold medal winner tonight, as a matter of fact, and says, Does anyone know if Bottomless Bubble serves all their pops from cans or is it from a fountain? I think it's both. From what I've observed, it's both. So you can get a can or you can get the fountain as well. Some bars you go to or wherever you get your pop, they don't even have the fountain option, so they have to give you a can. So it would be both. I don't know if anybody answered that question for you, but let's see. We have today, and you know what? If you all do a $15 super chat, I do a shot, and Zoe gets a treat. Tim did a $15, so I get a treat along with Zoe, and Zoe is healthy again. Come here, Zoe. She's scared.
Hey, look, for tonight.
Zoe scared us. She was walking around like she was about 80 years old last week, and I don't know whether she ate something bad or what, but she was not well, and we were worried. But she has made a full recovery. Zoe is back, and she's ready for treats. And so Admin Tim, Uncle Admin Tim had to make sure he was the first with Cheryl to give a treat. So high five for Admin Tim and Cheryl. What do you say? There you go. Hearty thank you. She's back and after those treats. And, I think this is the first bottle I grabbed. So this is the Evan Williams single barrel. But I also just picked up another Old Forester. And I have some Buffalo.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I got my Clark and Sheffield.
You got a little bit of Buffalo Trace shit. I got to use up first.
Right. Well, yeah. If you wanna join.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'll join you and Zoe.
All right, thank you. All right, there we go. Woo. All right.
Oh yeah.
90 proof. Oh. No, that's only an 87 proof. Okay. That's not too bad. All right, but thank you for that. Tim Klesko says when we were on the horizon in late July, it was in the cans. Okay. Okay, they're still talking about the pop there. Let me scroll down. Andy says, "Happy Tuesday, everybody."
I'm kind of excited about going over to Barcelona board Freedom. After she gets her tail fixed.
And you know what? I forgot to mention, admin Tim, you just put us at 150, and then we got our very own cruising Chris Moss here.
Yep.
That's on the screen. He's starting us off with our next one. All right. So, Chris, I can ask you, since you're on the screen with me, you get to choose. Should I do the Evan Williams? Should I do the Old Forester? Or should I do the Clark and Sheffield? Your choice.
Clark and Sheffield.
Clark and Sheffield. All right. So Chris wants me to go to Wrigley here.
Yeah. My wife's a Cubs fan. She had her birthday yesterday, so you know.
There you go.
There you go. Woo-hoo.
And you know what? I mean, this is the opposite of the Cubs, but my Raiders, I haven't wore a Raider hat on the show in a long time because they've disgusted me all year. But I'm getting excited again about the Raiders because they've sucked so bad that we might get the number 1 overall pick. We might be the worst team in the NFL. And if we are, then there's a quarterback that plays for Indiana. I'm really hoping the Raiders draft by the name of Francisco Mendoza, who I do feel is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
There you go.
Just beat Ohio.
That's how you look at it, man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see the silver lining in my team being horrible, and that's what I'm going with. So, Chris Moss, thank you, sir.
Salute.
All right. Oh, and I gotta get this treat ready for Zoe. Zoe.
Oh, by the way, the Texans will be playing them in about a week or two, couple weeks.
Who's that?
The Texans.
Playing the
Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Well, they'll beat them, no problem. I mean, the Texans will beat the Raiders, no problem. The only team I'm worried about beating is the Giants because we play the Giants at home.
They suck as bad, huh?
We might win that game. I don't want to win. Your team is bad when you want them to lose. Like when you're rooting your team to lose, it's a horrible season because you don't want to screw up the draft pick. High five.
Right.
What do you say? Okay. You don't have to get all in my face about it. All right. We got Lourdes Rios 2023. Oh, Lourdes made it to Diamond. Congratulations.
Oh, cool.
Charlene, you just saw it. He was right there barking in my face. Chris Moss is 10 days until his first Carnival cruise going on the Horizon. The Horizon is my favorite Carnival ship. Are you in the Havana area by chance?
I'm not in Havana, but we do have a balcony cabin. So,
okay.
Yep, Havana was not available when I booked. So, but we're in a nice balcony cabin for me and the wife, so it'll be a good time.
So Zachary Niesenbaum says, insider news, Pier 10 will have to be partially remodeled to accommodate the icon of the seas.
Well, they've also, that might be the opportunity they'll take to make Pier 10 extend it and make it large enough to handle 2 ships at a time. So that I know they're working on that behind the scenes too.
Okay. Yep. And then we got Charlene says, Zoe, so glad she is better. Treats. Let me set that treat aside. And Charlene, put which one you want me to do. Evan Williams, Old Forester, or Clark and Sheffield? I'll scroll down in the comments and see which one you decide I should do. Tricia Set Sail says, hey, Coach, got back from my cruise on Carnival Vista. Bar crawl was a huge success. Thanks for the tips. Watched your video on hosting it. Awesome, Tricia. I'm glad that worked out.
Yep.
I'm going on the Venezia, and there was somebody else that already had a bar crawl posted. and they actually they messaged me at first, and I don't take this the wrong way because it's going to make it sound like she was being mean or whatever. But she messaged me and said, "Hey, you posted a bar crawl. Take it down. Like I'm already hosting one." So she was hosting one, I think January 2nd, and then I like to do mine at the beginning. So mine was going to be 30th, and then I even messaged her. I put a post on the Facebook cruise page, and I said to everybody, I said, "Hey, look, I see there's already a bar crawl listed, but it's toward the end of the cruise. I like to do mine at the beginning. Do you still want me to do one?" And then people that knew me are like, yeah, do it. So I said, okay, do it. And then so that's when I posted it, and then that's when she messaged me, and I said, "Hey, I'm not trying to step on your toes or whatever." And she was very nice. As a matter of fact, I said, "Look, I've just done this. I have a YouTube channel. I host these all the time, whatever." Turns out it was going to be the first one she had done. And I said, "Okay, well, I can give you some tips and this and that." So this is going to sound bad, but I shared with her a couple of videos of the bar crawl, and I said, "Here, take a look, and you need to talk to the beverage manager to do this. It's not that difficult. You can do it though." And Trisha knows. Trisha just did a successful one. And then she saw one of my bar crawl videos, and she's like, "I don't want to do it anymore." It's so fun. Like, I don't want this pressure on me or whatever. She's like, "I'm thinking about canceling." And I said, "No, don't cancel." I was like, "It'll be fine. You come to mine at the beginning, and then you'll have another one."
There you go.
Yeah.
But she said, "No," she's like, I'm going to cancel mine, and I'll tell people to, go to that one. And then I'm like, "Okay, well, you didn't have to, but, come to mine." And then.
Well, you're the bar crawl expert extraordinaire.
Yes. I've done a few of them.
Yeah, so
you know what?
You have it perfected.
Well, I do, but part of the perfection is Carnival helping. So it used to be, and I know we're getting off topic here. It used to be Carnival would help out with the bar crawls, and you would talk to the beverage manager, and you would say, "Hey, I'm doing a bar crawl," and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. When you planning on doing it? How many people are you expecting?" And then I would lay out the bars that we want to visit, and I would say, "Okay, let's do some suggested drinks at each of these bars so we can have a bunch of drinks ready and just boom, 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 and we'll just move through everything like that." And they would help me with that. And then now Carnival's, being anti-fun or whatever, or, they don't want too many drunk people, so they've eliminated the bar crawl thing or whatever, which I don't know. I don't, whatever. But I tell the beverage manager, I say, "Look, here's what's going to happen. Okay. And this is the truth. This is the absolute truth. If this bar crawl is going to happen, I tell the beverage managers that. I mean, it's already on posted. We're going to do it. There's 35. I couldn't cancel it now if I wanted to because people don't have Wi-Fi on the ship. They wouldn't know that it was canceled, whatever. It's going to happen. So what I want to do with you is I want to sit down and I want to give you suggested drinks for each of the bars. So at the very least, you can have these bars ready for us that when we show up, they already have, the mixture at least ready so that they can just get these drinks out to us super fast. Because otherwise, we're going to show up with like 40 people, and there's going to be 10 normal people that aren't a part of the bar call at the bar, and they're going to be upset because they're not getting service because there's 40 people wanting drinks. I'm trying to help you out. Let me help you, and beverage manager is usually something like, "Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, whatever, but they don't let us do this and this and that." And I'm like, I get that, but at least, let's get prepared. I'll let you know in advance the storm is coming and just be prepared for the storm. Just have the drinks ready there and available. And that way, when the storm hits you, you don't have one or two bartenders like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? There's 50 people here and I'm 2 people, or I'm one bartender. Like, what am I supposed to do?" I'm just trying to help you out. So yeah.
Exactly.
Let me move on here. I spent way too much time explaining.
No, hey, that's information, man. People need to know that.
It's good information. Great information.
Celso Green says, Coach, let's go to London in July, do the 12-day Scandinavian cruise. That one's going to my last Carnival cruise if they don't fix the loyalty program. Yeah. Celso, I'm with you. Just hook up my airfare and let's do it. Airfare connection, let's do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We're flying to Barcelona next October to board Carnival Freedom, after she gets her whale tail fixed up and all that. And we're gonna bring her back to Port Canaveral, 13-day transatlantic. Very excited. I got a great casino deal on that though, free cabin.
Beautiful.
That went ahead and bumped it up to a balcony for nothing, So
we got one of your neighbors here, Texas Cruiser. We got the Cam Fam Texas here.
Oh yeah, I've already my kinfolk, I guess.
Okay,
Mitch and family. I love that family he's got. He's got them girls or something else.
Did Charlene tell me what type of shot to do? I didn't see if she did. Charlene.
She said your choice. She said your choice. I saw that.
Oh, my choice. Okay. All right. So I started with the Evan Williams. I'll tell you what. We'll break in the Old Forester for you, Charlene.
There you go. There's the Old Forester. Hey, like I said, man, that you got the little bottle, Evan Williams. I got the big giant family size.
Yeah. Well, see, mine's the reason it's little is because it's the single barrel. I got the fancy
single barrel. Okay, I know which one you got. I got the ones got the camouflage. That's high quality.
And let's see, we got Edmund, Tim, Charlene, Chris Moss. Thank you all. And Charlene, this is your shot, by the way. And Zoe, come here.
Charlene.
There we go. And I have the Old Forester here. And since you were talking about Zoe, high five for Charlene. Say Dragon Link. Say Dragon Link. Say Dragon Link. Say Dragon Link. Okay, yeah, she said dragon. She didn't say the link. Because that's Charlene's favorite slot machine. That's why I said that. Okay.
Hey.
All right. So yeah, let's get to the actual topic.
The niece is in the house.
The people that are tuning in for the first time are super annoyed. And if you've lasted to 18 minutes and 30 seconds, you're like, what the hell? I tuned into this because we're going to talk about starting your own YouTube channel, and it took you 18 and a half damn minutes to get to the thing. So if you lasted this long, good for you.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I still haven't given away the bag. Let me just read through the numbers. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna read through the numbers. Wanda is 1 through 5, Admin Tim 6 through 20, Rick the Texas Cruiser 21 through 25, JB 20. Carnival Cruise Addicts 41 through 55, Cruising Chris Moss 56 through 70, CLTV 71 through 85, Chris again 86 through 115, Admin Tim 116 through 130, Rick again 131 through 135, and Admin Tim 136 through 150. Those are the numbers for when you do the drawing, and because of Chris and Charlene, we are all the way up to 35 for the next drawing as well. All right.
Wow. So
here's what we're going to start with. A lot of people are going to watch this on replay. Why we started our cruise channels, okay? And I'll start because a lot of people, I get this question asked a lot, like, why did you start your YouTube channel or whatever? So the thing is, I was already an avid cruiser, okay? And the reason I started the channel is when COVID happened, everything obviously was shut down for the most part. Right? And cruising was a big part of that. So people that loved cruising, I was one of those people, we were shut out. Like we couldn't cruise anymore. And so what I started doing is because the local news didn't give a damn about cruising. So the only place I could get cruising information was on YouTube. And I would tune into the Lolita Loca and Don's Family Vacations and everything. Yeah. And there weren't many cruise content creators at the time, but those guys would pop up all the time. And so I watched those guys, and they would be getting their information. I didn't know where they were getting it, but they had information, and I'm like, oh, okay, cruising might come back. And I kept, purchasing cruises, and then the cruise would get canceled. Then I'd purchase another one, and they'd give me a free $600 and whatever else Carnival would do. And I would just keep bumping it down the road, the next cruise. So once cruising started, and they finally announced, like, okay, cruising's coming back. It's like July 3rd. It's going to come back. I'm amped. And I'm like, I'm going to go. Like the first week of cruising, the cost of that one was way more expensive. But then the weeks after that was a lot cheaper. So I booked a back-to-back for the first time Vista out of Texas with Miss Fire. And I was so pumped. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start. I'm going to do this. I've been watching these guys. I can give tips, tricks on cruising. I've been cruising, before this, whatever. And that's how I wanted to start. And I think my first video was something about packing for a cruise and packing effectively. Like, so you bring all these extra clothes that you're not going to wear and this and that. So yeah, I did something like that. And then if I go back, and I've left, for the most part, I've left almost all my videos up. If people go back and they watch some of my first videos, it's kind of bad, like you learn some stuff along the way and how to make things better and stuff like that. But that's kind of what got me into it. Honestly, it was COVID, and I was so pumped about getting back to cruising that I thought, hey, I'm going to try and start doing this. And then as far as continuing, once I posted a few videos and some people liked the videos and more people subscribing and things like that, then that like gave me fuel. That gave fuel to my fire, and that just kind of like motivated you. All motivated me to keep producing videos and content and things like that, and just our community just started to grow. And I met gentlemen like Rick and Chris, and the community that has kept growing. And the thing I love about this community is in business, right? Like Rick and Chris would be competitors, and you would like be against them and like talking bad of my hamburger is better than the Texas Cruiser, and my steak is than Chris Moss's or whatever. Like you would be like in competition. But in the cruising community, that's what's great about it, is like everybody's like kind of in support. It's like, subscribe to the Texas Cruiser, subscribe to Cruising Chris Moss. Let's help each other out. Let's lift each other up, and
we all come up together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know on that Seascape cruise we just did, that inaugural out of Galveston, there's so many content creators on board that ship. So it's like a little mini convention. We had so many on there, and that was a blast. It became one of my best cruises I've ever been on, because we were all together. We kept throughout the whole cruise. We got together and we talked about cruising, about our business, about YouTube, what we could do to help each other, to improve each other's channels, stuff like that. That was totally awesome.
Yeah, and then like Rick and then Chris, like I've met you guys after, but Carnival Cruise Addicts, I don't think they're on tonight, but I got a private message from Liz, Liz and Chris, Carnival Cruise Addicts.
Yep.
And she said, hey, we're thinking about starting a channel, and I'm like, yeah, you should absolutely do that.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean, I'm not trying to take credit or anything. I'm sure they would have done it anyway. But, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You could totally do this and everything. And they have a thriving YouTube channel. They're doing great. Their channel is awesome. Carnival Cruise Addicts, they've been on this show many times, as many of you regulars have seen.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Rick and Chris on the channel for the first time. But it probably will not be the last time, I'm sure. But there's relatively new channels and building their channel growth and everything like that. And the truth of the matter is, some of you might start watching some of their videos and be like, hey, I like them better than Coach, and that's okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, like I said, it's that niche that you you attract a lot of people to. It's been successful, very successful. I shot a message to on their show. I told Chris and Liz that I would not be as successful today if it wasn't for them directing me and being my friend and coming on my channel and saying, we talk about cruising on the channel. I'm on their channel, and then we do the same thing on their channel. I would not be as successful today if it wasn't for some of that kind of support from like you, Brad, from the Carnival Cruise Addicts, Derek and Amanda over in Island Time. I mean, there's so many people out there on other channels. And I tell you, one of the biggest ones is Vicky, Foodie's channel. Okay. And she saved me one night on my second live show. YouTube was killing me. YouTube was just trying to do all they can to destroy me that night. She told me, Rick, come over to, and I had just signed up for StreamYard, but I didn't know what to do with it. Well, she told me, come over to StreamYard right quick. So I did that. Within 5 minutes, I was back on air. Everybody was still there waiting on me. And it was, and I never looked back since. It turned out being it's going to be a travesty at the beginning, like the old Hindenburg explosion and all that, all the humanities, that's what I was thinking at the time, man. It was that bad. But we came back that night and salvaged it, and I wound up having a great show the rest of the night. Right. And I never looked back. And Vicky, she helped me on that night. She had her own channel, like you said. She's a competitor. I don't call them competitors. She's a fellow YouTuber,
colleague,
we're a community, and I have so many friends who are content creators like you, Brad, and Chris, and all these other people. They're friends. They're very good friends, and I love it.
We got Bill, and we got Scott. We got Warmstrong Adventures here. We got Conchford Cruising here. Foodie's Vacations, as you just mentioned, is checking in on you, saying hi.
Vicky. I didn't know you were looking on my shoulder.
Najuma is checked in. Bone Tired Travelers are here.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? I think I got everybody. Lourdes, I mentioned earlier. And Lourdes, no, I didn't see. She had asked if I had seen the Gerald Ford off the coast of one of the ABs, and I hadn't, but that would have been cool for sure.
Right.
Let's start with you, Rick. What motivated you to start your YouTube channel, and then we'll go to Chris after that.
It was just kind of like a progression. You said I couldn't get enough of watching people like Derek Derek for almost day one, and then before him it was La Lita Loca, Don's Family Adventures. There's another guy. I quit watching because he was so negative. He kept saying half the cruise ship's going to be scrapped, and I couldn't take him any longer. So I kept watching everybody and see if anybody got any kind of information, knowing that once this nightmare is going to end, so we get back to cruising. And we finally hit that point to where we were coming back cruising. Just so happened to jump on Independence, was one of the first ones in Galveston to start cruising. And I jumped on Independence, and that's when we had 30% capacity of the passengers on it. That was awesome, by the way. We had to wear masks, but 30% of the passengers on board. That was it. And that was wild. That ship was a cool ship.
COVID was great in a lot of ways.
It kind of was. I hate to be that way, but yes, it was. But then I contacted. Like I said, I was on Business Talk Show Radio for 3.5 years down here, and I became real good friends with the business editor for the Galveston Daily News. And I contacted her one day and said, hey, people on these chat boards, I was on a lot of chat boards. I said, these chat board people say, hey, you need to put your stuff down because you got a lot of knowledge and all since I've been cruising since '88. And so I said, yeah, that sounded cool. So I contacted Laura over, she's the business editor for Daily News. And she said, oh, man, we've been thinking about having somebody come in and write a column for us over cruising. I said, well, I like to volunteer for that. They said, oh, you're the one we were thinking of. I said, okay. So I started writing that column, and we came up with the name, the Texas Cruiser. And they had their photographer take some professional pictures of me. I mean, you may see them in the beginning of pictures of me with a hat and all that. But it started evolving from that. I was trying to keep the column down to 550 words, and that was hard to do. So I started, I don't know, for some reason or other, one day I decided to form my own YouTube channel. I think I looked it up. We were talking a while ago, January 1st, 2024, whenever I started my YouTube channel. And I didn't know what to do with it at first, but I eventually started doing some stuff with it, videos. And
does one of you, I don't know, have some radio or something or TV in the background? I'm hearing some background noise.
Oh, no.
That's my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I can't do anything about it.
No, understood. Everybody else probably understands as well. It's okay. Charlene says my channel is about cruising and gambling. And getting back to, I don't know if we got into the niche, but Charlene, I'm glad you mentioned this because this is one of the things we were talking about before the show. You have to have a niche, like all three of us, obviously. Our content is centered on cruising. And, like Charlene, that cruising and gambling, those go hand in hand. So that is perfectly fine what you're talking about right there, at least in terms of my suggestions, not saying that I'm right. But if I were to advise some people on starting their own channel, I would say, pick a lane. We talked about picking a lane. Like, don't talk about cooking and going to Disneyland. Don't talk about going to Disneyland and race cars. You need to have, like, if you want to talk about race cars, you're going to get a bunch of people that are race car enthusiasts, and they're going to share your passion, and you're going to have back and forth, and everything's going to be good. But as I was talking with Rick and Chris before the show, I love sports and I'm a coach and everything else like that, but I'm not on here talking about basketball and football and, with the exception of, complaining about my team being horrible and things like that. But for the most part, I stay in the lane and we're talking about cruising and cruise related stuff and things like that. So, yeah, absolutely. That would be some advice I would have. But with that being said, let's move on to Chris and let's share with us, please, if you don't mind, what got you into the Cruising Chris Moss channel.
Well, I am probably one of the newer ones around, and I've been watching YouTube for a while. When my wife first wanted to go on a cruise, I really like to be educated about things. So, from that standpoint, I was like, I started watching a lot of people. My first cruise was Royal Caribbean. I fell in love with Royal Caribbean. So I started watching, a lot of channels over there. Started watching Derek and a lot of those guys, Lolita Loco, and Don's Family Adventures. And then after I booked my first Carnival cruise, which I booked it about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, I started finding Carnival Cruise Addicts, Coach, and, a lot of others. And then I just kind of fell into the community. And I do live in a very small town in rural Indiana, and we don't have a whole lot of cruises around here. So I don't like to sit around and just, I'm going on this cruise, because it feels like I'm bragging. And that's not my personality. But where I can get on this YouTube channel and I can talk about cruising, I feel comfortable talking about cruising because all of us are cruisers. And I just love sharing my passion about it because, it's something I fell in love with. And, my wife got me on a cruise by saying, you never wanted to go on a cruise. You didn't want to book a cruise. And sure enough, I booked a cruise. We went on our first Christmas cruise, and I booked it at Thanksgiving, got it paid off, and we went on Allure of the Seas. It was amazing. And before I even got off that ship, we had probably about 4 other cruises booked. So and it's just been
That's
amazing
cool.
for us.
That's cool.
And that's how I got into the channel. It's just for me to share my passion. And I think, you're talking about niches and all that other stuff. Being an educator, I like to educate people. I like to share my knowledge of what I can. And trust me, you guys have 20 times more knowledge about cruising than I would ever have, because you've just been doing it much longer. But I think what I've picked up from everybody, I try to share. And I remember, because it wasn't that long ago, that I know what it's like to be a new cruiser. So that's where I came up with my Cruise Tip Tuesday. So that's where I think I'm going to fall into with a lot of my stuff, is just keep those tips, and with my medical background, I talk a lot about, how to keep healthy on a cruise, how not to get the, cruise cough and all that other stuff. So that's kind of where I'm looking at, and that's kind of what I want to do. So,
well, that's great, and I love that story, and that's great information, and again, people, and I just let's see, who was it? We had the crazy-eyed cruiser saying he's going to start his channel, and that's great. I love it.
That's how you start.
I had that going through my mind, and I also, while I was cruising, Chris Moss is on the bottom of my screen, and I just saw the banner scrolling below him, and it says goal 11,026 subscribers by 1/1/2026, and I just had this thought of it. And Tim had messaging me and saying, "You didn't change the message. We're already past the goal. The goal by 1/1. We're at like 11,100 something." And admin Tim had told me I needed to change it, and I forgot to change the damn thing. So admin Tim, don't yell at me. Don't message me later. I forgot, or maybe message me before the next show. So
Tim's gonna keep you straight, man. He's gonna keep you
11,026. I think I was supposed to change it to like 11,326. I don't know if we're going to get there, but 11,200 at this point sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with me, I'm kind of a go-getter, because even though this is my first Carnival cruise, I started the Facebook page for the Carnival cruise that I'm on, and we've got close to 800 members.
Oh, there you go.
And we do have a lot from the Chicago area, Northwest Indiana area.
Yeah.
I would say we probably got close to 100 cruisers coming from this area that are going down there on that cruise. That's awesome. Are just in the Facebook page alone.
You should have a bar crawl, Chris.
So we've already got somebody doing a bar crawl. So
somebody doing one?
Yep,
okay.
Yep. I'm actually, my niche there is doing a shot glass exchange. We got 60 people signed up for that.
Oh, beautiful.
So I like doing shot glass exchanges. So,
yeah,
I get my Chicago White Sox shot glasses. I buy them in bulk. And my wife gets Chicago Cubs shot glasses. She gets hers. I buy them for her in bulk. And, we go in there and do that. Or I'll throw some Indiana State stuff in there. Because that's where I went to school at with Larry Bird. So
you mentioned Facebook. Yeah.
Pardon?
You mentioned Facebook. That's how I got started. I had a lot. I started all these pages in Facebook. And I started one called Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas page. Mm-hmm. And then it started changing the Oasis class ships. So I went ahead and changed it to Oasis class ships of Galveston. That page is up to 68,000 members. Now we're getting ready to hit 69 any day awesome. Now of that page. And that's one I created. And you have to bring in some other people to help you admin it, because it gets to the point it's so big,
right.
And I got some couple of great people to help me with that, and I created multiple pages, all Royal Caribbean based, Icon of the Sea, Galveston, and so forth,
Yeah, because I think in the future I've probably got about 15 to 16 cruises booked. I think I'm admin on Facebook, probably for 14 of them. So that's what I like to do, I just enjoy doing it. So, and Carnival cruisers are very passionate and very knowledgeable, and they're the most active Facebook group I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely the biggest.
There's definitely a lot to love about Carnival cruisers, and as you put it well right now, Chris. They are active and they're passionate, and I think some of the other lines maybe not quite as passionate, but everybody loves cruising.
Right.
There's not to say there's not passionate people on every cruise line. I know there's passionate.
Oh, yeah.
Rick, obviously is as passionate as they get when it comes to cruising. But yeah, I understand from being in Karma. I know what you're saying there, Cruz.
Yeah, but they are very active.
Yeah. I already announced the numbers. If you didn't hear them, you could watch it on replay if you're joining the show late. So I'm going to ask Siri for a random number 1 through 150. And I have these, and I both Cruising Chris Moss and the Texas Cruiser, I believe, have one of these. But I have a giant cooler, and it has, this zips, and honestly, God, I don't know how if you can tell how big it is, but it could hold
big. It's pretty big.
At least 30 beers and have plenty of ice and room for other stuff in there, or pop or whatever it is.
It's a serious cooler, man. It's a serious cooler.
Yeah. And it's got a strap and everything, so it's got a bottle opener on it.
And a bottle opener. I was getting ready to say, yep. Can't forget the bottle opener.
All that good stuff. So you can get that. And if you already have one, because I know Admin Tim has one, for example, you could opt to get a shirt. And then if you choose to get a shirt, then you get an extra 50 drawings in the next batch. So you can choose to get a shirt, or you can take a second cooler, whatever you want, and give away.
Hey, Coach, did you see my video whenever I was on Seascape that Wednesday morning, whenever they came out with Icon coming to Galveston? I had to do a quick breaking news video, and I had a lime green Coach Cruise t-shirt on when I did that video.
I've seen you wearing the shirt before. I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, I wear your shirts all the time, but that,
I love it.
that was funny.
Well, there's a good chance one of you might win this again while on air. So let's see. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 150.
A random number between 1 and 150 is 138.
Well, look at that. Admin Tim, he is numbers 136 through 150. He was the first entry today. So Admin Tim wins. He got the gold medal today, and he gets the gold medal prize.
Yes, he does.
That's awesome, Tim.
We have 2 coolers. We keep one in the car, and Cheryl uses to keep cold groceries in it from the store.
There you go.
There's different options you can use with the cooler. So
yes, sir.
Tim will have to decide whether he wants 3 coolers or not. So congratulations, and then Tim. And also, as I said before, Chris Moss and Charlene, they are entered into the next drawing. Anybody that does a super chat, whether it's $1 or $15 or whatever, you have, if we call your number and it matches the number on the thing, then you win. So that's how it is. So you can get in for as little as $1, and you can go as high as, $100 if you wanted to. I think we've had that happen one time. But usually the most has been 50, but yeah, anybody can. But congratulations, and let's go on with the show. So I wanted to move on to money because we're just talking about super chats. You can actually make some money, and I don't know. Cruising Chris Moss just started out. Rick the Texas Cruiser, I don't think is advanced to that stage, but here's what happens with YouTube. At least I know YouTube. So at least when I started, and I think they've changed the rules up a little bit now, but you had to have 1,000. 1,000 subscribers, and then I think it was 4,000 hours of content that has been viewed, right? And then you can get monetized. So that's the way it was for me. Now, once you reach that 1,000, it's like a big deal. You feel like you've made it,
right.
1,000 was really big for me. 2,000 was really big. 3, 4, 5. All of those thousands up to 5,000 were like really big. And like once I hit 5, I felt like, hey, I've kind of arrived. And then after 5, I'm like, okay, 10 is going to be when I really,
Yeah.
I mean, you keep hitting milestones, you're just like, okay, well, what's the next one? And and then you try to work toward that. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Like once you finally get monetized and you actually kind of get some of the fruits of your labor, so to speak. Now, I didn't start this channel thinking like, oh, hey, I'm going to make money or whatever. But I mean, I appreciate so much. And the thing that I would suggest, and this is another suggestion, not that you have to do it. This is the suggestion that I would do. I reinvest, that you hear people say reinvest in your business or whatever. I spent $172 just recently ordering a bunch of buttons that I'm going to go on the next couple cruises with, and I'm just going to be passing them out. Here you go. Here you want button, just give away buttons like they're, like they're free. I mean, each of those buttons probably cost me 36 cents or whatever, but I give them away. And when I host these bar crawls, I give, the lays away, and I buy these stickers, and each of these stickers, I think it averages out to like 35 cents a sticker or something like that. I give those away. And, I mean, when you're putting in these orders, it's, $160 here, $150 there, whatever. It adds up, I mean, and it's expensive, and some people don't, want to mess with that.
Right.
I would suggest you do, because, it's marketing. And like, if you pass out 20 buttons and one of those 20 buttons subscribes to your channel and they start watching your channel and become, a fan of the channel, and, then it's worth it. So I mean, that would be some suggestions. So just keep reinvesting in your channel. I mean,
right?
I mean, I've got the stickers. I've sent out stickers to friends and stuff. So I'm doing that. Yeah. I've got a magnet ordered to put on my cruise cabin door. So, and we're doing. So I'm going to put some of that swag and stuff in there. So yeah, I'm doing it, even though I'm not penalized or monetized or anything like that. But I just want to get the word out, and that's what I like to do.
And that's one of the reasons why I do the bar crawls, honestly, is I enjoy doing them first off, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, it's no problem at all. It's I mean, as soon as I get on the ship, I got to get in line at guest services and ask to talk to the beverage manager. And then, lately it's been kind of like, I don't want to say an argument, but somewhat of a debate on, trying to get some help from Carnival and things like that, because they're steering away from helping, the drinking crowd and stuff like that. And so it's been a little bit frustrating. And then, you can't just be one of the people that are having fun, even though I do have fun, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but you also have to remain sober enough and competent enough that you're keeping track of time, and okay, we got to move on to the next bar, and you also are host, so you got to make sure that everybody feels like they're one in the group and everything else. Like, you got to go talk to everybody like a host should do, and things like that. So it's not just like kick back, drink, have fun. But I absolutely do have fun on all of these. I hope that doesn't cross the wrong way. But it's not like I'm just completely off work either. It is a little bit of a task that you're doing or whatever to make sure that everybody's having fun and stuff like that.
It's almost like being a politician. You gotta shake the hands and kiss the babies and make sure everybody's having a good time.
Yeah. Charlene says, I love my Coach Cruise stickers. I asked Santa for new luggage, and I'm saving the stickers for my new luggage. I love that. I put Cruise Life TV's stickers because I've run out of it. Cruising Chris Moss, I think, took the last space on my drink here. And then look, I got Rick the Texas Cruiser right there.
There you go.
I got them both. But my cups have run out of space. So I have to go to luggage now. And Cruise Life TV, they're on the cup too, but they gave me some extra stickers. So I'm like, what am I going to do with these? So I put them on my luggage. So I have Cruise Life stickers on my luggage. And then any other extra stickers I get from content creators, I'm going to have to put those on my luggage too, I guess.
I had business cards made. What the heck? That thing going down there? Okay, hang on. My camera slipping on. There we go. I had some business cards made, and that's a picture I took of St. Thomas. On the backside, I have links to my Facebook page and stuff, and my YouTube on the backside. And people always ask me, "How do I find you?" Well, look, here's a card, it has that address on it. Find me that way. Then also I have those stickers like you showed on your drink. When I went on that cruise on Seascape, I ran out of cards fairly fast. So I started handing those stickers to people. I met well over 100 people, Coach, approached me and said, "Hey, I see you on YouTube. I follow you." It's well over 100 people approached me on. That was pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah.
And so I thought, hey, man, here's one of my stickers. I had always carried a big old pack of stickers in my pocket. And
yeah, no, that's great. That
was pretty cool. That was really cool.
And you're so right about that. And I remember when the first people started coming up to me saying that they watched the channel and stuff like that. And I had parents coming up to me and they asked if I would take a picture with their kids. And they're like, their kids like to watch my channel. And I'm like,
yeah.
Why? I'm like, why? Like, I truly didn't understand. I don't understand why a kid would like to watch my channel. And they're like, oh, well, they just, like it or whatever. I'm like, well, God, now you're scared me because I'm probably stuff like that. But yeah, I took a picture with the kids and stuff, and it was fun. But to your point, we talk about cruising, but then we have our daily lives and our daily jobs, and like this isn't a full-time gig for us. But then when you go on to a cruise ship, you're in a smaller world, and that smaller world includes people that are avid cruisers, and then they have watched your videos and they recognize you. So when I still get a chuckle when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, hey, Coach, whatever. Can we get a picture with you?" And I'm just like, "Yeah."
It was funny. We went to the hibachi, Keiko Teppanyaki on Seascape, and I got to have some hibachi, Japanese food. So we sat down and on the U-shaped table there, and two young ladies on the far end of the table down there. And I was doing my video, doing my job, taking videos, content, and all that. And they were over there. They were taking pictures and all that. So, that's right. I'm just taking for my channel. So, we know that. We know you. We follow you. I said, okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild, man.
This
channel, so you'll see it. You'll see it.
Yep. Well, this would be my first cruise as an official YouTuber per se. So. I just got to make sure I do my job and, get content because I've been because all the videos I've got posted are just, pictures and stuff like that. I've just taken just for my own use. So now I really want to try to get something that's worthy, that people will hopefully enjoy watching. So,
before I forget, Texas Cruiser and Cruising Chris Moss. Is that how it shows up on YouTube? Is it just Texas Cruiser and Cruising Chris Moss, or what's the old title?
Mine's Cruising Chris M. All of my info is at Cruising Chris M for YouTube, and Cruising Chris M I've got on Facebook. I don't have any other social media at this time. So
okay, yeah. So yeah, everybody, like I said, in the community, help each other out or whatever. Yep. And I know there's been some other content creators that have said. Hey, if you're not going to watch the videos or whatever, don't subscribe. I don't believe in that. Like, you could hit that subscribe button, even if you don't watch the videos. I think, if people see like, oh, this person has X number of followers, they must be decent or whatever. Like, even just seeing that number, I feel like helps out a little bit. So even if you don't have time to watch every video or whatever, don't let that keep you from subscribing. So yeah, if you could help out our newer up and coming channels like the Texas Cruiser and Chris Moss, hit that subscribe button. All that's going to do is, like, when you watch your YouTube feed or whatever, it'll just pop up their videos occasionally, a little higher in the order. It's not going to take away from the videos that you already watch regularly.
Right.
It might just pop them up higher in the feed. That's really all it does. It's not like junk mail that you're just going to be like, oh my God, not this again. It doesn't work like that on YouTube. So so it's not going to hurt anything if you subscribe to these gentlemen. So
and I just feel lucky that I've got 79, 80 people that are interested in seeing some of my videos. And if they watch some videos, that's great. If they don't watch any videos, that's fine too. But at least that many people have shown interest in me. So that's honorable right there.
And I love that you said that, because it doesn't seem that long ago that I was right where you were. And I remember when I hit 100 and I'm like, oh, I'm at 100. And like 100 was so great. And then, 200. And then, like I say, once you hit that 1,000 and everything else like that, then you really feel like you're taking off. And then, then it just goes. And like I say, the community starts to grow and everything else like that. And, some other things that I wrote down, you can start to make some money. And, like once you reach 1,000, people like the Texas Cruiser and Cruising Chris Moss and Min Tim, Charlene, they've been so supportive and given super chats and continue to do that. And honest to God, that we talk about adding fuel to the fire, that keeps you going, that keeps you, and that helps out. And then obviously the views, once you start putting videos out there and they're getting a lot of views and things like that, that helps increase the income or whatever. And, it might start out to where you only make $100 every couple months or something like that. But you know what? You get that little check and you're like, hey, this is just a hobby. This is fun for me. How many people's hobbies pay money, right?
Exactly.
So looking for a reason to start a YouTube channel. Okay. Right. I mean, a lot of people have fun, building train sets and, model planes and whatever your hobby might be, collecting spoons. All of those things cost money. They don't pay you, right? I mean, that's one of the great things about a YouTube channel is you can follow a passion that you love and you enjoy doing, and you can share that with other people. And if you get enough other people that enjoy what you're sharing, you can actually make money from your hobby. And I mean, I kind of look at Coach Cruz channel as something of a hobby that's grown into, something bigger, a bigger community that, we've all connected with and everything like that. And it just so happens that it gives me a few bucks on the side, and I love it. It helps me Cruz more and connect with more people out there like yourself. So I appreciate that.
Now, Coach, I don't know if this is like this when you got down to that up to that level, but right now I have like 740 members, but it was the 500 was the break moment. When I hit 3,000 watch hours, I will be able to go and sell memberships, do supers, and shopping. I'll be able to have a sell merch. I'm within 16 hours. I'm within 16 hours of hitting 3,000.
That's beautiful. Well,
once I do that, I will be able to do memberships, supers, and shopping. And I got a case of a big, huge case of tumblers came in today. So I will be able to put that out there on her, and but I'm like within 16 watch hours. I mean, I come that close.
That's awesome.
Just got to get over that hump.
That's
a real tiny hump.
we got some people in the chat saying that they're subscribing to you guys. We got Admin Tim. We got Sandy the Lost Pirate Jenkins.
Thank you.
So that's cool. That's cool, and that's another reason why I like to have newer channels come on here and spotlight as you well deserved. And it's fun.
It feeds my passion, man.
It really does. It really does. I mean, and I've been very blessed with what I do, because I do sports medicine for a living, so I get paid to watch sports. How much of a better life do I get? Everything that I've done since college, You know, I haven't paid to go into a sporting event that I can remember. Even when I went to go see my buddy play in the Major League Baseball, you know, I got free tickets to go watch him play.
That's
So,
awesome.
you know, and it was at Wrigley Field because he played for the Angels when they played
Oh, wow,
the
very
Angels. So, you know, I mean, that's a blessed life. I've never, you know, had to go to work a day in my life, but I'm getting into a different phase of my life to where I'm going to need to do something after I retire from athletic training and sports medicine. So, you know, this just gives me something else to do, something else to occupy my time, because
Right.
I'm not going to be one to sit still, because I'm used to working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks. That's what my life has been ever since I've been 18 years old. So,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I
this
mean,
fuels my passion.
absolutely. You know, it's a great thing. And, you know, just to kind of sum things up, a couple other tips I would offer is to set goals.
Yes.
You see, you know, like in the banner here, which I need to change, you know, admin Tim's going to, you know, message me about later, but like, you haven't changed. But, you know, set goals, like, you know, and honest to God, setting goals helps keep you on track. So, like, if you say, you know, I know Cruising Chris Moss is starting Texas Cruiser, he's a few, you know, hours away or whatever. But if you set certain goals, what that does is it motivates you, like, to make that video, because you need to stay consistent. You know, you need to make a video or two at least every week. You need to try to stay on track with that, because if you go a month or 2 months or whatever, you're not making any videos or whatever, you're going to fall out of the algorithm that YouTube does, or Facebook, or Instagram, or whoever it is that you're performing on. And you're just going to fall to the bottom rung. So you have to stay consistent. And by setting goals, saying, hey, I want to have this many subscribers by this date or whatever, you know, like if you're falling short of that, but you have that goal, it might motivate you to be like, oh, you know what? I meant to do a video on this. I meant to do a video on that. It might motivate you to pump those videos out, because you want to try to hit the goal by the designated date or whatever. And,
Right.
and you know, it's got to be a consistent thing. Most people that start YouTube channels and stuff like that, they quit because they love the idea. They love the idea, and they think that, oh, I'm going to start this channel and I'm just going to have like 1 million followers and things like that, you know, and it's just going to go like that. No, it's not. It's work. You know, you have to put the work in. You have to do the editing. You have to do all these things, and it's not something that is going to just be handed to you. So if you're not prepared to, you know, kind of embrace the grind, embrace the struggle.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a grind. You got to grind it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, it can't even be like a grind. It has to be something that you almost want to do. Like if you're somebody that's passionate about cooking, you know, you filming videos of yourself cooking shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't be troublesome in any way. You should enjoy doing that because you're doing what you love, right? And I mean, that's kind of what it is for cruising, for us three up here on the channel right there. We're sharing something we love, so it doesn't seem like work to us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know, if you have to make a certain video or whatever, it can seem a little bit like work. But for the most part, you know, it's something we enjoy. It's like a hobby, and even hobbies can seem tedious at times. But in the long run, you appreciate what it is you're doing. So that's some advice there. And don't quit. You know, don't quit. Like you might have lags, and you might look at the numbers, and you might not be getting many subscribers and stuff like that. You might just feel like, oh, I'm wasting my time or whatever. But if you're in it only for subscribers, if you're in it only for money, then you're not in it for the right reasons. You know, you definitely need to be passionate about what it is you're doing and enjoy what you're doing. And if you don't have anything that you're passionate about,
it's got to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be fun.
For sure.
Meeting people, you know, like that's one of the best things about starting a channel for me, is because of the channel, and because people watch the videos or whatever, they'll come up to me and just be like, oh, hey, you know, I saw your video on this. I love it. And then I'm meeting more people like yourselves that are awesome people. You know, I said I love that song by Maren Morris, All My Favorite People, even though it's not talking about cruising. You know, it just gives me that cruising vibe. not everybody understands, us, but all my favorite people do, or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's why I get such a kick out of that song or whatever. And I feel like the cruising community is a lot like that.
Oh yeah. And 99% of the cruises you're going to run into are just like we are. They're passionate about it. They love it. And they're just great people to meet and talk with. And, this community is just awesome to be around. I mean, I've learned so much from so many people, just so many good friends that I've met and, ran into that I can't wait to meet in person. That's my son right there, Mossy 2021. Hello, Junior. And he lives in Pennsylvania.
Very nice.
Just I can't wait to meet you guys in person, because if you're half the person that you are that I see online, I mean, it's going to be a great time. Coach, I mean, we live probably 60, 70 miles away from each other, and we're going to end up on a cruise sometime somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure. I've already got plans to meet Chris.
Let me know. We'll hook up for a drink or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Crazy Eyed Cruiser just joined both of your channels, so I know your subscriber count went up by at least one tonight. Probably.
Yeah,
I noticed that. I noticed my numbers kind of went up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you mentioned that, Coach. I lately I was doing some great videos. I was real feeling good about myself. I say I always want to have my wife go check out my videos and all that. Then one night last week, she comes sit down in the chair next to me in my little man cave study, and I was kind of grinning my face. Hey, I got a good video. I said, yeah. Why do you have a problem? She'd been very serious. She had a serious look about saying, hit the like and subscribe button. I said, oh, I didn't say that. He said, no, you did not. You have a problem with that. This is my wife's. I said, okay, I'll make sure to say that. So if you listen to any of my videos now, Chris and I, we did the live show the other night. I said, Miss Donna says, you be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I say that on the end of all my videos now. I make a little joke about it. And I'll say it twice. I said, make sure now, Miss Donna says you better hit that like and subscribe button.
Right. Absolutely. And Lourdes, you know what? I mean, Lourdes, you might have cornered the market here, because
yes.
I mean, well, the thing is, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know how many Spanish-speaking cruise content creators there are out there. But like, if you started a channel, that's a great niche in itself.
That's excellent niche, especially in Texas.
Yeah, and there's many people that that might be native Spanish speakers but speak English, and so they follow English speakers because that's the only thing out there. But if they had a Spanish speaker to follow, maybe they would do that. So I absolutely think you got the right idea and thinking about that.
Good niche.
So Mossy says, I do have it. What would be the best way to start saving for a cruise? That's one of the best things about cruising is, like, if you go on a typical vacation, you kind of have to have the money up front and with you. Saving for a cruise, like, you can book a cruise in 2027 and put a couple $100 down on it, and then pay a little bit a month each month for all the way up till 2027. So that's one of the beauties of cruising, is you don't have to be rich. It might take you a couple years to pay off your cruise, even if you're working at McDonald's or something, but you can pay it off little by little by little. Even if it takes 2 years, you'll have that cruise paid off, and then the cruise comes and boom, you just go enjoy the cruise. That's one of another cool thing about cruising. So that's one thing.
There's a lot of cruises out there that you can go on that will not break the bank. And,
right.
And I recommend them.
And the one thing I can say about Mossy 2021 is he lives on the East Coast. So he's got Baltimore and New York and Philly right there where they're starting with NCL getting the cruise out of. So, just need to find one, during the shoulder season or something like that during the off season.
Yeah.
Like Coach said, and then take 2 years to pay it off, because they're booking through 2028 now. So I've already got an Icon cruise in March 2028.
And
so that flying out right now is what my biggest budget is. And I'm sure you're feeling
Yeah,
the pinch right now too, Coach.
flying definitely cuts into the budget for sure. Glad you know what? I have Duolingo on my phone. I mean,
Oh, I do too.
I want to learn Spanish. I really do. I'm just so
I
bad.
can't do it. I know the words that'll get your ass kicked. I know those words.
Yeah.
I can't speak.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I knew Spanish. I have, as most of you know, I mean, the coach part of Coach Cruz is because I'm a high school teacher and coach, and I had girls basketball practice today, and I had this Spanish speaking girl come out, and she wants to join the team, and we're sitting here using Google Translate, communicating, on our phones or whatever, passing phones back and forth, like, here you go, read that, and I mean, it works, but, it would be a lot easier if I knew Spanish and stuff like that. So,
by the mid-season, you're going to know a few keywords that you'll be able to say to get your point across.
But I tell you what, we are 11 minutes over time, and it was I knew this show would be fun, because we have a couple of cruisers, and Rick the Texas Cruiser, and even though they're newer channels, they are veteran cruisers, and they're following their passion and starting their channel and everything. So all of you that are thinking about it, and I know a couple of you mentioned in the comments, they're like, hey, I'm going to do this, so I hope that we fueled your fire. And, but before you know it, you might be asking us to be a guest on your show. And because you have 100,000 followers or something like that.
I would do it. I'll be there.
I'll definitely be there.
Be sure to shoot us a line. Questions, if you have questions, PM us. We'll definitely answer your questions for you. So,
and tip of the hat to Admin Tim, Chris Moss, and Charlene, our super chatters today. Thank you, all three of you. And we'll be back next week. Next week, I cannot confirm this 100%, but Cruise with Jen and Trevor, those of you that are followers of them, Trevor was a member of the Fun Squad on the Carnival of Valor, and he was relieved of his employment as a member of the Fun Squad, after he put in 2 weeks' notice. So he potentially may be on here with Cruise with Jen to share his story on how Carnival relieved him of his duties in Cozumel, Mexico, and he had to find his way back home to the stateside. So that could be an interesting show. It could be. I messaged Cruise with Jen earlier today, and she thinks they may be able to make the show next week. So that's in pencil, not in pen. That show could be happening next Tuesday. If not, we'll have to figure out a plan B, but that's the plan for right now. So all of you that stayed on all this time, thank you. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to Cruising Chris Moss and the Texas Cruiser. If there's a couple of you out there that aren't already subscribed to me, I would appreciate a little subscribe, a little button too. So thanks, everybody.
Don't be afraid to become a member either. It's got its privileges.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. We'll see you all next week, everybody. We are out.